welcome back to Will and Wise.
The Dog Show Drive.
That's right. This week on the Dog Show Drive, we're going to talk. Wait, some sad news this week. We're going to talk about our dear friend Thomas Curley, who passed away this past week.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to talk about the limited registration issue that's going on in America right now. Should they be shown, and why they shouldn't be shown? Blah blah blah. And then we're going to talk about last week's question of the week, which was pertaining to juniors owning their dogs, opposed to not owning their dogs.
Yes,
all that.
And more
on this week's edition of Will and Wise,
the Dog Show Drive.
Waves in the sea. You show myself to me. You let me down easily. Oh, that's the way you come to me. I'm head over heels, and I'm always gonna be. That's okay. I love the way you come.
Hi, Y.
Hi, Will.
How are you doing? You're twirling your hair.
I'm recovering because, I went on a big old trip this weekend.
Last weekend. You went to the Duck-Tiller National, American National.
Held at the lovely Purina Farms.
Well, that is a lovely place, yeah.
It is gorgeous. I was unaware of its vastness, even though I've seen, on Facebook, I've seen clips from, like the Poodle Club of America was there, et cetera. But it's a fantastic facility.
It really
I went
is.
with our Megan Brown, or Wozniak, and she said to me, what would you change about the facilities? I mean, other than the parts that were broken and they're still repairing. There's not much that you would really do different there. I don't think there's a lot of
me. It's been a while since I've been there. As a judge, it's great. As a judge, it's amazing. Now, even as a single dog exhibitor, it's amazing. When you have a truckload of dogs, it's a little more difficult. The parking's not exactly what you want, and so I don't know if they fixed it since then. Well,
there is they have some really close RV parking, which is like just right outside the door. And as we all know, if you're on a fairgrounds, you could be parked, in the back 40 and still have to make your way to the rings. I know from where I saw, like some of this RV parking, it was close enough that, it would be really well. The only thing I complained about, was in the washrooms, they have those automatic faucets. And I couldn't get the faucets to work. I mean, like the soap would hit right away. And I'd have to go to 3 different sinks.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because I had this issue this weekend because we're getting so used to automation, so used to it, that I was in the bathroom, I washed my hands, I waved my hand underneath the paper towels, and nothing was happening. I was there for what seemed like 5 minutes. It was like probably 30, 40 seconds till I realized you had to wind it. I was like, this thing's not working. What the hell is going on here?
The batteries. But anyway,
you're dancing around the paper towel dispenser, and some 12-year-old comes in and says, "You have to unwind it." I knew that.
Okay, thanks. Beat it, kid. No, that's my only complaint. And I mean, it's a wonderful place because they have their own little cafe in there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
The Duck-Tollers had their banquet upstairs. There's a banquet facility upstairs, and the meal was good. I'm not going to say it was fantastic, but it was good. I've had way worse wedding meals. Trust me.
Way worse wedding meals.
Way worse. They had
crashing weddings.
And of course, they had a bar, so I was fine. With it. So it was great. It's a wonderful facility. I think I'd be like, how could they get their own hotel on those grounds? That would be the only that would be the pinnacle of it.
Ultimate.
The ultimate, if they could have their own, Nestle Purina hotel right there. Because we stayed at a hotel and it was 4 minutes down the road. It was a Comfort Inn. It was very lovely. It was clean, and those are the one. It was one of the ones that they've taken out the carpets now, and it's all laminate flooring, which is perfect for the dogs.
Smart
right?
for the dog people.
Yeah. So it was really good. And then the only other exciting thing that happened was, of course, Fanny got a bladder infection because, the trip wasn't about her. So she made it about her. But excellent vet. It was the one listed on their premium. Oh, I loved her. She was fantastic and so accommodating. I called like 8:00 in the morning and they got me in by 10. Fanny was all looked after by 11 and off we went with our antibiotics and it was great. It was great.
Excellent. That's nice to know.
Yeah.
Nice to know.
Yes. So
I attended the Oakville Kennel Club this weekend.
Oh yeah.
And it was a very good, well-run show. There's a nice international panel of judges. Mm-hmm. Like we had, I don't want to say too many because I'll forget them because there was a lot of them. Walter Sommerfeld from America was there. It was good to see Walter. I hadn't seen him for a while. Juan Carlos was there from, I want to say, where is he from? Maybe Peru. I can't remember. I don't want to get it wrong. Sinead Taggart from Ireland was there. It was a good array of judges. I missed Phoebe Booth. She was there judging the Whippet National. I really wanted to go say hello to her, but I didn't have a chance. And it was a nice show. I think they could, if I had to change something, you're for sure getting your steps in at that show. They have it vast where they don't need to make it vast. There was 2 buildings with rings in them and 2 outdoor fields they used. There was one field right opposite the main ring, indoor ring, that could have accommodated everything. I don't know. If they wanted to put a national ring down, I said, when someone asked me, I said, well, they got rings down in Copetown. If I was still a handler, I'd have to get 2 hotels, one for that show and one for this show, But it was still a nice event. It's nice to have events. But
is that a new location for them?
No, it's Ancaster Fairgrounds.
Okay.
And several kennel clubs have been using Ancaster Fairgrounds now because it works out well. And it's a nice location. But they're trying. I don't know. They have huge rings, which is great.
Yeah.
But they could have had huge rings just across from the building, and they could still have their specialty rings down in Copetown if they wanted to, because it would keep things separate. But I was there as an owner handler, and I missed one of my dogs because I couldn't get to the terrier ring because I was stuck at the beagle ring, and it was too far away. And there was, because of the foreign judges, some of the judges were a little slower. Because they were getting used to our systems, and so timings were off, and people were missing dogs. Like if I was there as a professional handler, I would hire more staff to work that show. But you'd still run into problems because even if you hired more staff, which is great, when you're hired as a professional handler, so when they hire you, they hire Yvonne Norton, which is great. And they want Yvonne Norton to show as many dogs as you can, all 15 dogs. Well, you wouldn't have been able to. You would have had to have your assistant show all these dogs. And both of us have tried to have great assistants, but it doesn't matter how good your assistants are, clients still want who they hired.
That's right.
And so it makes it difficult. And let's face it, you do want the handlers to attend your shows because they bring multiple numbered dogs. But it was still a great event. It was a great event to attend. It was a great event. The depth of breed rings and whatnot. It was fun to watch. And there was lots of good dogs there. It was a very nice event to attend, and everybody was friendly. And whenever there was a problem, Gord and his team tried to figure it out for everybody. They were very attentive that way.
Oh, great!
I just think that if they consolidated and not tried to make it look so grand, it would be easier to work and it would be more exhibitor friendly.
Oh, that's good. So at least there's room for growth, though.
God, yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And I think Gord and his team will figure it out because they want to make it exhibitor friendly. So I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Oh, good. That's
But
good.
it was a great event. Like I like having events as dog shows because it makes it
You
more
and me both.
attractive and more like the old days. So
Yes.
I like events. And so
For sure.
my hat's off because they are trying to make an event out of it.
So
Oh,
that's good. That's good.
For sure.
But also through this weekend, we got some more sad news.
Yeah, that we heard this. I believe did we hear this Saturday night or Sunday night?
I think it was Saturday
night. Yeah,
Saturday night.
We lost. We lost a big one. We lost Thomas Curley this weekend, and I don't know if you don't know Thomas, you really missed out on meeting a really special individual. He when he said he had a lot of health issues this past 5-10 years
anyway.
He lost his leg. I can't remember the exact date, and that didn't stop him.
Nope.
But when he was in the hospital after the surgery, Peter Scott and I went to visit him, and it was incredible. It was like it was a sad day because our friend lost his leg, but he made us feel better, like Thomas did. We were there to try to make him feel better, and he made us feel better. And we went away. We were joking, and he was even joking about the surgery. We talked about how much TVs cost, and he said yes, an arm and a leg. like it was incredible. It was an incredible feeling. And when I remember Pete and I walking out of there thinking, what happened there? He made us feel better. It's like he made us feel better about him.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And as a handler, like a compatriot, like he was always there to help anybody.
Yep.
He always had advice. He always took advice too, like he'd ask for advice.
Yes.
He was a gentleman all the time.
Oh,
I never saw him
through.
I never saw him get angry, judging or due to the judging or whatnot. Now, like he might question things back at the setup and whatnot, but I never ever saw him get angry. He was always there to help juniors. He was always there to help newbies. He and his wife Deanne were always willing to step up and help anybody that needed their help. And even when he lost his leg, he still came back and showed his dogs. And he got to the point where he couldn't even tell that he was missing a leg. And it wasn't just Pekingese he was showing. I just saw a video of him this morning showing a dog where he was marching around the ring like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now there were times where he got tired and sore, and we'd see him at ringside holding his leg. But he was incredible, and he was such a valiant man. He put up such a fight because he loved being with everybody, being at shows, and being alive. So he just. It was almost like he everything that was thrown at him, he just, all right, here I am. Let's see if we can fix that and carry on. He was incredible. He was really incredible. And I feel better for knowing him. And my heart goes up to Deanne. Even through all my health issues, they both touched base with me to see how I was doing while he was still fighting things.
Yes.
Like it was just incredible. It's just... it's really a loss for us. The whole sport was a loss for us. Pardon me?
Well, I was just going to say we do extend our heartfelt condolences to Deanne and the entire Curly family at this difficult time for sure.
Yeah, and we
will miss Thomas.
Yeah, he just touched so many people. He really did. It's a hard one. It's a hard one, and I hope I hope everybody uses their memories to smile, because that's what he would definitely want.
Oh,
he
for
definitely want you to smile and laugh and then come up with something about his interaction with Thomas that was fun. Like he used to always call him the Monopoly man, right? You do not pass go, do not collect $100, and I still can see him at the Garden. with the Pekingese, and in his top hat and tails, waving to the crowd in the group. He was a total showman. He was just, yeah.
Well, one big memory for me with Thomas was, I believe it was at either Bracebridge, Muskoka shows, and Lyd lost. I don't know if it was a ring or something. We were on the docks and we were all fooling around with.
Oh yeah, I wasn't there. I remember the story.
Yes, and I don't know if it was a pin or a ring. I think she lost. It was a ring. Anyway, Lyd lost it, bloop, right through the boards on the dock, and she marked it. And Thomas went in. He dove under that dock and he found that ring for her.
And as the story goes, too, I'm sure it gets longer and longer as the story goes on. But he was down there forever.
Forever. Like
looking for it.
Wow.
Like he was like Aquaman.
He was. It was so, but it was, and he came up with, he found it. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah.
That was
good.
Gosh. Yeah. It was a fun time. Yeah. That was a fun time.
I hope we all, and I don't know if we're having any kind of celebration or whatnot, but I hope we all sit down and talk about stories like that, because that's definitely what he would want. He would want us to all talk and to laugh and have fun with things that we all interacted with.
Yep. Yes.
A tough one. Why? Tough one here at the Dog Show Drive. It's been a tough couple of weeks. So.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah. So. And he would have been a wonderful judge too. He would have been a wonderful judge.
For sure.
Such an eye for dogs. And he was,
so knowledgeable in his breed.
And we're all thinking of you and we all love you, and we'll see you soon somewhere for that hug and kiss. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Carry on. Why? What?
Okay, we have to break for a second because my mom just walked in. Pause.
Yeah, so we'll move on.
We're moving on to Across Canada, driven by Show Scene Magazine. Show Scene, where every dog takes center stage. Just trying to jazz it up a bit.
Yeah, we definitely have a look for radio.
We do. That's too bad, because I told you today I thought my hair looked really good. So we only had two shows.
It is on the YouTube too, but
it is on the YouTube.
Most of our fandom comes from the podcast. So.
Yes, but if you want to see how good my hair looks, go to the YouTube.
Hey, everybody, look how good we look. Hey, everybody. Ron Burgundy.
Yeah. All right. So
Across Canada.
Yes, we only had two shows.
Come on.
All right, I am. We had two shows this weekend in Canada. We're hopeless. First of all, we had Heart of the Continent, 2 days in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and they had
four shows. Heart of the Continent.
They've been, I think, new. Is this either their second or third year? Yeah, I think this is just their second year. So, because I have stats for the previous year, so at least 2 years.
At least two.
I'm good at math. So they had four shows, and they had 628 dogs over the four shows. And the previous year, they had 526. So they went up.
Great news. That's
almost 100 dogs. That is fantastic. And then we had the show that you were attending, the Oakville Kennel and District Kennel Club, the 5th through the 7th in Jerseyville, Ontario. And they had three shows, and they were at 1,280 dogs. Yep. And the previous year, they're at 1,357. So they're down just a bit.
They're down a little bit. Yeah.
Down just a touch. So that was Across Canada. See, I always want to go back to that original commercial. Canada.
Canada.
Anyway.
It's all about timing.
Timing. I know that guy. Anyway, Show Scene Magazine.
That's
where every dog. Oh, right. Where every dog takes center stage, right, Lyd? So our upcoming shows are brought to you by Canuck Dogs, your source for Canadian dog show event information online. So we're going to October because it's already September.
Oh my gosh.
We're in the second week of September already.
I know, it's freaking me out.
Oh, freaking you out. Freaking you out. Do you realize I'm already realizing I'm late for Christmas shopping? It's like, oh. Anyhow, Belleville and District Kennel Club, October 24th through the 26th, closes on October 8th. And it's 3 all-breed shows, limited breed shows for groups 1, 3, and 5. And then we have Battle River Canine Association in Camrose, Alberta, October 24th through the 26th. And it's 3 all-breed shows, 6 obedience trials, and 3 rally obedience trials. And then we have the ever-popular Trillium Dog Fanciers in Lindsay, Ontario. And that's October 31st through November 2nd. And that's 3 all-breed shows, limited breed shows for groups 1, 2, and 5. And they have a host of specialties usually at that show.
That's one of my favorite shows. If you've never been to the Trillium Dog Show, you need to go.
You need to go.
Yeah, the club is very exhibitor friendly, and they try to make it a fun event. They have a chili contest and costume contest.
Oh, the costume contest is really good. The chili contest is nice, but I really enjoyed the costume contest last year. I didn't join in, but I would have, had I been more prepared, maybe I would have joined in.
But they do try to make it fun, and it's always a good show. They always have a very
great panels usually.
Yep. And it's a great show. Okay.
Yes. So then we have also on that weekend, we have Red Deer, Alberta, Red Deer and District Kennel Club, and that's October 31st through to November 2nd.
That's a great show as well, too.
Yep.
That's a great show to attend, Red Deer.
Closes on October 15th, and that's 3 all-breed shows, 3 obedience trials, and 3 rally obedience trials. So those are your upcoming shows brought to you by Canuck Dogs, your source for Canadian canine event information online. So reminders for closing. We have Miramichi Kennel Club closing on Monday, September 15th. That's next Monday at 9 p.m. or when the limit is reached. And that show secretary is Noteworthy Farm Show Services.
Friend of the show, Patrick Mudge.
That's right. And then Lloydminster Kennel and Obedience Club closing also on Monday, the 15th at 12 midnight or when the limit is reached. And that show secretary is TKO Show Services. Then we have Fraser Valley Dog Fanciers closing on the Wednesday, September 17th at 9 p.m. And that is a classic show service. And that's all we've got for upcoming closings.
Excellent. Well, we have a guest speaker to come on now, but I want to preface it with, because we're always talking about not negative things, but yes, negative things about our kennel clubs and the AKC, CKC, what they could do better, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of things they do that we have no idea they do, which are good for the sport of dogs. Yep. And Dominic Carota is a good friend, and he's the past vice chair of the AKC. And I convinced him to come on and talk about the AKC Humane Fund. So this is a great interview, and it'll surprise all of you. So listen to Dominic, and here we go. Alrighty, Will here again. As promised, I have with us Dominic Carota, past vice chair from the AKC, and he's going to discuss with us today about the AKC Humane Fund. Right?
Yes. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you.
You too. So I know I wanted to. I was excited when you approached me to talk about this because the AKC Humane Fund, which many people are not aware of, helped my club immeasurably during a really difficult time. And the AKC Humane Fund offers breed specific rescue grants. And the Fairhound Club of America, who I'm a member of, and I'm the delegate for that club to the American Kennel Club, we experienced a pretty serious rescue situation about 2 years ago. And we had 25 dogs, 3 adults, and 22 puppies that came into rescue. And the puppies were between 5 months and 7 weeks old. And some of them were in very, very bad physical condition, to the point where we didn't believe that some of them would actually live. I received a call in July that there was this problem in South Carolina. It was over the 4th of July holiday. Um, and so I had an empty Sprinter, and off I went to South Carolina, driving down from my home in New York, and the Pharaoh Hound Rescue Group, which there were several of us. We convened down not too far from the home that were surrendering the dogs to us, and we were able to rescue all of them. But being a small breed club, and trying to take care of 25 dogs in various degrees of health, with the majority of the puppies in need of serious medical, veterinary care, we were worried about the funding. So we actually went to the AKC Humane Fund, and we applied for a grant.
I wouldn't even know that existed. I didn't know about that. So that's incredible.
Yeah. Well, that's one of our problems, right? As purebred dog people, we don't talk about all the great things that our sport does and our clubs do. Whether it's the American Kennel Club or our local clubs, we have to get the word out there. And I think sometimes we hear about all the stuff that needs to be improved, or we hear the complaints about things that need to be done, and some of those complaints are valid. But I think we need to put some focus on all the good works that our local clubs do, and then, quite frankly, clubs like the American Kennel Club, that they're out there trying to help, purebred dogs. And they ultimately granted the Pharaoh Hound Club of America $23,000 to help these dogs. And I can tell you that all of these dogs survived, and all of these dogs are in wonderful homes. And that was really the ultimate key, as a rescue group, as a parent club, um, is to have these dogs not just survive but thrive. And without that money as our cushion to help us with those veterinary costs up front, we would not have been able to do that. And I think the Humane Fund is a non-for-profit arm of the American Kennel Club. It's a 501c3, but they engage in so much good work that sometimes it's hard to cover in just 10 minutes. But ultimately, we were able, because it was on social media, we as a club were able to raise a sufficient amount of money because of how well known this rescue situation was. And as individuals, my club then went out and raised $18,000 on its own. And our board of directors
On
had a
top of
meeting
the 23 Humane
on
Fund?
top of the 23,000 that they gave us.
Right.
And so we said, well, wait a minute. We were able to raise all this money. The AKC Humane Fund stepped up. We took that $18,000 that we raised and we gave it back to the fund. And we said, you helped us in our time of need. We were able to raise this amount of money, especially with all the social media publications and all the social media awareness that was out there about our rescue situation. And we wanted to give that $18,000 back to the fund, so then we could pay that forward so that they could help the next breed or the next breed after that. And that was a very important, I think, part of the process for the Pharaoh Hound Club. Was not only were we appreciative, but we were able to, help other dogs moving forward. And it was a very nice outcome of a very bad situation. But the Humane Fund does more than just help, these different purebred clubs. So you can either be a parent club, or you can be a parent club recommended organization that is in need of help. And the breed rescue grant is submitted to the Humane Fund. They meet, and then usually you have an answer in a very short period of time if they're able to help your club.
How long has this been in existence?
Well, the Humane Fund's been around for quite a while, but the actual different grant applications and the different programs, those have been evolving over the years as there was a need. The secondary grant program that they work is the Women's Shelter Program. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So,
Well, I have an idea what it is, but I'm not aware of what the AKC does.
Right, right. So what the Humane Fund does, that's another grant program, and essentially it provides financial assistance for domestic abuse shelters. So it was established from data that was received and what we were told, and the information we were supplied as an organization, was that many people will not leave their pets at home if they're in an abusive situation. They won't seek a shelter because they're afraid that it's a possibility that the abuser will hurt the animal if they leave their home and go to a shelter. So what this grant program does is provides financial assistance to these shelters, the human shelters, so that they may either provide shelter for animals of these people that are in an abusive situation, or that they will make arrangements to pay for allowing these pets to come with them. So that grant program is also in existence, and the Humane Fund oversees that as well.
That's an incredible program.
Yeah,
They do this much aid for everybody, and like I said, I had never heard of it before. So
well, there's also in the Humane Fund, take it a step further. They're also involved with the John D. Sperling Scholarship. Sir John, wonderful man. I've met him several times personally. He was our guide and our contact when I went to Buckingham Palace for the Kennel Club's announcement of being given the Royal Kennel Club name by the King. He's a wonderful man, but that's John D. Sperling Scholarship offers a total of $10,000 per year, and there's 4 scholarships totaling $2,500 each, and it goes to individuals that are studying some form of higher education in dogs, whether it be veterinary, whether it be grooming. It could be veterinary technology, it could be physical therapy, any of those categories, and that $10,000 is awarded annually over those four different scholarships. And that's just, again, another aspect of what they do.
was that under the umbrella of the Humane Fund?
It is. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you told me all this. I would have had no idea. And that's why I called upon you, though, Dominic. I want to hear these things. So,
well, I think it was important to speak to it because of we need to focus on some of the great things we do, and I think because the Humane Fund has been in existence, and me personally, as a representative of the Fairhound Club of America, experienced this generosity in this grant program firsthand. Right. It's important to talk about because there are other clubs out there that are or will experience similar situations where dogs are in need, and often it's not necessarily. It could be because the individual breeder became ill or ended up in the hospital, right? And there was no one to take care of their animals. Someone once told me, "What's the difference between a great kennel and a terrible kennel?" And I said, "Well, what is that?" And he said to me, 24 hours.
True enough, right? True enough. So. Yep, and I think that's incredible that we. I like that we we talked about the positives because you're right. There's so many negatives being thrown out there now. It's good to hear the positives, sure. and I like to hear that the AKC is doing such things without us even really knowing. So it's
right, but I think that's the key. I think that we should know. We should be aware of that.
Yeah,
and also
we should be aware.
Taking that a step further, so that the general public is also aware of those things that we do as an organization. Yeah,
that's great news. So would you mind if I called upon you every once in a while to come on here and discuss these things with us?
Sure, if you want to hear from me. I don't know how much I can tell you, but I'll do my best.
I think you have a lot to tell us. Well, that's great, Dominic. I really appreciate your time again. So,
all right, thank you, Will. Take care, man.
We'll see you down the road. So,
all right, great. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That was Dominic Kuroda, and I think that was very enlightening.
Wow.
To find out the positive things.
Didn't know.
That our
Did not know.
Do. And that I think the Humane Fund is. There's got to be a way the CKC can do it. But for all I know, they do have one, and we don't know about it. I didn't know about the AKC's Humane Fund, and so there's a.
I think CKC. We need to make some inquiries.
Yeah, and so we'll have. I have to have John back on or Natalie on, and we'll find out what they are doing. They might have one, and if not, maybe this will encourage them to look into it. So
yes, for sure.
It's a great fun, and it's a great thing the AKC is doing, and it's helping out the dogs that need it. So
yep, for sure.
It's great.
Yes.
All right. This week's topic brought to you by Leading Edge Dog Show Academy. Your success is our success. Okay, so Yvonne, take it away.
So It was kind of a hot topic we saw on Facebook, and it was
Sure was. It was going crazy. I even
like,
got phone calls from people that wanted to put inputs, knowing that we might use it here.
yeah.
So next
So
week, because
it had to do with the AKC kind of putting out the limited breed registration and how they were going to now accept the limited breed registration, that they could participate in conformation shows.
right. I don't think
And-
it's passed yet, but they're talking
Right.
about it.
And for us here in Canada, we do this already.
Yeah.
So, and when we talk about limited breed registration, basically what that means for our Canadian listeners is the when puppies are sold on a non-breeding contract, right? And so
Yeah.
we still allow those puppies to be shown at our shows, and they can participate in all of the other events or whatever. But in America, they are not allowed to participate in conformation shows. They are allowed to. Well, let me just get into, because I had to do some reading on this because I was not as knowledgeable about the American side of this. So Megan, of course, has done the research for us, and it's really good. So what
So
is
we're
limited?
all going to learn right now.
We are. So sit back and relax.
Yep, take notes.
What is limited registration with the AKC? Limited registration is an option breeders can choose when registering a puppy with the AKC. The dog is registered, but its offspring are not eligible for AKC registration, which is the same here in Canada. The
Right.
breeder litter owner indicates this by checking the limited box on the registration form at birth. So in the States, you as the owner purchasing a puppy, you're the one who actually registers the dog. Here in Canada, your breeder registers your puppy. So that's just a little difference there.
Difference, yeah.
So what are the restrictions? And this is we're talking AKC. So a dog with limited registration cannot be entered in AKC conformation breed shows. American Kennel Club, Doberman Club. That's just
where she got it from. Yeah.
She includes cliff notes and where she got the sources. Yeah. Anyhow, however, it is still eligible to compete in many of the other AKC sanctioned events, including, but not limited to, obedience, rally, agility, tracking, field trials, hunting tests, herding, lure coursing, earth dog, fast cat, championships like scent work, junior showmanship, trick dog, and the CGC. So that's the Canine Good Citizen.
So that's a lot they're eligible to compete in.
Yeah. So essentially, to me, it just looks like you just can't show them.
Right.
Am I correct? You just can't show them. You can do everything else you want to do, you just can't show them. So why use limited registration? Breeders often use this to, one, protect their breeding programs, ensuring only dogs meeting their standards produce registered litters. Two, discourage casual or unauthorized breeding, especially important for pet homes and reducing misuse. Three,
at that point, though, I think you're still going to get individuals that are going to breed those dogs and sell
they want
them
to, they're doing it.
unregistered, which still causes a problem. So
yeah. Three, it can also be part of a structured agreement where full registration is conditional, potentially tied to health clearances or age requirements, which I understand that, and that's totally valid, right?
Yeah, it is.
So,
a lot of Canadian breeders will put non-breeding restrictions on their dogs, and then they'll lift them if you get a championship. So,
right. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday when we were discussing this, that a lot of breeders do. They'll sell a potential, breeding prospect to a family. And if you put in the work and the desire, then like to get the championship, get all your health testing done, then a lot of breeders will lift that non-breeding contract so that you can therefore go ahead and breed your dog. And you are then aware of the importance of what we do as preservation breeders. So that's
it always just worried me a little bit. Like I talked to you about it. Like when I was a kid and my parents were breeding Irish setters, we drove all the way to Middleburg, Virginia, to talk to Mr. Aldridge and hopefully get a Travelda Irish setter. If he had put a limited registration on it, I'm not sure we would have gone there. I really don't.
Probably not, because
because
but at
we
that
want
time, but at that time too, you had shown dogs for a little while. This
of
wasn't
course,
this wasn't
our
your very
first dog.
first dog, et cetera, et cetera. And I understand where breeders get wary when, someone comes in and they're all hot and heavy, like, oh, I want to show and I want to do this. And like we've
Well, of course,
watched.
and there's two sides to it.
Yeah, exactly. And we've watched them, those that come into the sport and they're here for 5 minutes and then they're gone. And
Right.
you've heard the stories about, I sold them a really good dog and now, I can't even get a hold of them to lease them back to use them for breeding or anything. And it's understandable. But anyhow, so can limited registration be reversed? And yes, but only the litter owners, i.e. the original breeder, can apply to remove the limitation. They must submit the application to revoke limited status along with the appropriate processing fee to the AKC. And once revoked, the dog receives a full registration certificate, purple border. That registration cannot be re-limited. So you can reverse the limit, but then you can't
You can't put it
unreverse
back.
then you can't unreverse the limit. So once that dog is registered, that's it. That's the last go around. So dog owner perspective and real world insight. So this is some of the pros and cons. So if you're a pet owner who doesn't plan to breed or show in conformation, limited registration usually isn't a disadvantage. You still participate in most performance events. However, be cautious with breeders offering full registration as an upgrade for a fee. It can be a red flag.
Yeah, I've heard of that. So
Yes. And so
for another fee, act right now. You can show your dog.
but wait, if you order now,
small fee
we'll
of-
send you two.
Wait, that's not all.
And here's an example. One user shared their frustrations. I feel like I was deceived about her registry status. What is the point of an AKC registration if you don't show or breed the dog? This highlights the importance of clear communication about registration status before the purchase. Well, even up here, you'll see like back in the day when you could like puppies were listed in the newspaper or whatever, you would get Labrador Retriever puppies, $500 with papers, $300 without. And it's like, and I heard, and I have never verified this, but because we are federally regulated, like that is actually against the law to say that it costs more money for a registered dog because, first of all, it doesn't cost us $200 to individually register a puppy or whatever the amount that they were claiming. And so it's, that's always, anytime you see that it costs more for your registered dog than your non-registered dog, that's a bunch of malarkey. So always be aware of that.
What is malarkey?
What is malarkey? I'm not sure. I wonder if it tastes funny. Probably.
I'm sure it does. Mm-hmm. Unless it's got peanut butter on it.
Yeah. Everything's better with peanut butter. Okay. So, in summary, so the aspect of breeding rights, limited registration, you don't have any breeding rights to your dog. Puppies cannot be registered.
Right.
Right. And this is, and to me,
shows not allowed.
Yes. Confirmation shows not allowed. Other CKC events allowed, including
AKC events, not
AKC.
CKC.
Yeah, AKC, including agility, rally, tracking, etc. Reversal process is possible only via the breeder with the application and a fee. And use case ideal, and why you would use the limited registration is ideal for pet homes and protects your breeder's genetic programs.
Yeah,
so the pros of limited registration for breeders: protects breeding programs, ensures a dog sold as companions cannot produce AKC registerable litters, helping preserve the integrity of the breeder's lines, discourages irresponsible breeding, prevents casual or backyard breeders from using dogs not intended for reproduction, and gives flexibilities. Breeders can sell puppies as companions without worrying their bloodlines will be misused. And then you can be upgraded. If the puppy matures into a quality breeding show prospect, the breeder may later change to a full registration. For puppy buyers, more affordable. Companion puppies often cost less than show breeding prospects. I don't know how much that is I know a lot of breeders just say, I sell my puppies for one price, whether it's a show
I
prospect.
guess it's an individual thing, and I think they try to
Yeah.
stay steady with the market, or say that's like
Yeah.
Labradors across the board,
Exactly. Encourages responsible ownership. Buyers focus on having a pet, not on breeding. And then it still
Well,
allows for.
Right, because there are those ones that go in there all starry-eyed, thinking they're going to make their fortune,
Yep.
breeding Irish setters or something.
Yeah.
The champion bloodlines.
And it still allows for competition. Dogs can participate in the AKC sports and activities like obedience, et cetera, et cetera. Now, for the dog community, it supports breed standards. Help ensures only quality dogs are bred, maintaining health, temperature. Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
It's getting warm in here.
Anyway, temperament is what I'm trying to say, and structure, and reduces overbreeding, discourages accidental for profit-driven litters from being AKC registered.
And that makes a lot of sense. Like when I was a child, Irish setters in our area were so popular. Like I don't know if it was because of Big Red or what, but they became.
I would think so.
Yeah, they became so popular, and they were overbred and oversold, and we started getting poor quality in the show ring because of it, because everybody bred Irish setters. And now it's down. We don't have as many Irish setters, especially here in Canada. But what we do have are definitely show quality. They're good, well-bred animals for home show, whatever you want. So
yes. So then now that we looked at the pro side, we must look at the con side. So the cons of a limited registration for breeders. Potential conflicts with buyers. Some buyers may feel disappointed if they later want to breed but discover the limitation. Added responsibility for breeders. Breeders must carefully track which puppies are placed on limited versus full registration, and also may discourage some sales. Buyers who want the option to breed may walk away. So for puppy buyers, you cannot show in confirmation. Dogs with limited registration cannot compete in AKC confirmation events, even if they turn out show quality. Also, cannot breed AKC registered litters. Even if the dog is excellent in health and structure, it won't produce AKC registrable puppies unless the breeder upgrades the registration. And also dependent on breeder's discretion. If relations sour, a breeder may refuse to lift limited registration, even if the dog is outstanding.
Yeah, for the dog, get involved. Egos get involved in a lot of things in our sport.
Well, that's pretty much how our dog show world runs. For the dog community, misunderstanding by the public. Some buyers mistakenly believe limited means their dog isn't purebred or is of lesser quality. Also, unregistered breeding still is possible. Owners may still breed, but puppies won't be AKC registered, potentially fueling unregistered backyard breeding markets. And that is facts.
There's no question.
The backyard
see
breeding.
it every day. I can still remember driving down Fifth Line and seeing a big sign, "Beagles for sale."
Beagles for sale.
I always slowed down just in case there was something really good there.
You never know. Was it the Daisy Hill Puppy Farm?
Yep, Daisy Hill Puppy Farm.
Yeah. So we're going to we'll just do a little bit of AKC, CKC comparison here. So when it applies to the limited registration, so we don't call it a limited registration, we call it a non-breeding contract. So in AKC, the dog's registration, it refers to the dog's registration status, where here it's actually a legal contract attached to the registration. So that's the difference between ours and theirs. So who sets it? Well, both in Canada and in the States, the breeder at the time of registration in AKC sets it, and the breeder and in CKC, the breeder and buyer both sign a binding CKC contract. So where in the States there's nothing signed, here in Canada, it is a contract, and
Right.
both the breeder and the buyer both sign it, so the buyer knows what they're getting, and what they're allowed and not allowed to do. So confirmation in the AKC, they're not allowed to be shown. In CKC, they are allowed to be shown. In performance events, they're both allowed. Breeding restrictions, same for both. The offspring of any limited registration or a non-breeding contract, that offspring cannot be registered with the governing body. Changing the registration of the restriction, only the breeder in AKC, only the breeder can request upgrade to full registration. And CKC, it's the same, requires the breeder's consent and CKC paperwork to lift the restriction. Legal enforceability. For the AKC, more of an administrative status with the AKC. So whether you go legal, that would be, I would think, really gray and hard. For CKC, it's considered a legal contract under the CKC rules. Now, whether you can walk into a court of law.
Well, since CKC is sort of governed by the
Yes.
Canada, it might be binding.
So I would love to hear some lawyers in the Canadian side talk about that. Anyway, buyer misunderstanding and risk. At AKC, it's often confused with dog being less purebred. Where on our side, the CKC, buyers may not realize it's a binding legal condition, even though they've signed a paper. Some people just don't realize. The primary purpose, I think it's the same on both sides, to protect breeding rights while allowing pet performance homes. And for us, we say it's to prevent breeding unless breeders authorize the removal. So basically, CKC or AKC, the differences in practice, AKC limited registration mostly functions as a record-keeping tool. It blocks the registration of litters, but does not stop the act of breeding itself. And for CKC non-breeding contract, it is a legal agreement between breeder and buyer, enforceable under CKC rules, and the dog may still show in confirmation, unlike in the AKC system. But as we all know, there's been dogs on CKC non-breeding contracts that get bred and they just have puppies. And
I know, and I understand the worry and the AKC side of it is that some kennels don't want to see some of these dogs they've sold compete in the show ring. They don't want to see this dog with the Will Alexander prefix on it, or like they don't want to. But again, I don't know what the answer is, and I'm not going to even come up with it.
yeah,
I know they're worrying about numbers entered in the confirmation events down there right now. So maybe this is a way that they're trying to increase it. So they include that set of dogs.
yeah.
It's going to be an interesting outcome. And I'm sure we're going to hear a lot of different sides and arguments. So
yeah. So just to give a little bit of history on our side of the CKC, because this was a question that came up in our meeting. It was the Canadian Kennel Club has been involved with non-breeding contracts since the late 1800s. So we've had this for a long time. When it was established
Mrs.
to promote,
Whitmore established it, I think.
Yes, it's just rude. Anyway,
she was the founder of the non-breeding contracts.
You're terrible. Okay.
Oh, I loved Mrs. Whitmore.
Yes. Okay, so the non-breeding contracts were established in the late 1800s when it was to promote purebred dog breeding in Canada. Non-breeding agreements are private contracts between the seller and the buyer that prohibit the dog from being used for breeding purposes. As of October 2nd, 2024, breeders are no longer required to provide these agreements with their registration applications, but they must retain a copy as part of their private breeding records. So, interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that was our topic of the week, sponsored
and that's
by.
Going to lead to the. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Can I finish my part?
You
Please?
can. Yes, of course.
Sponsored by Leading Edge Dog Show Academy. Your success is our success. So now,
So do we want to give out the new question of the week, or do we want to go into last week's question of the week? Because the new question of the week.
Let's do the new question of the week, because it pertains to our
Yes.
topic here. So
this week's question of the week,
brought to you by ProPlan.
Brought to you by ProPlan. Fuel the champion in your dog.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, what are the advantages and disadvantages of AKC limited registration?
Yes.
So we're looking for a lot of good response here.
Tell us why you feel this way.
And before we carry on with last week's question of the week, I want to welcome new Dog Show Drive listener Mark, the cat, who's been convinced by his daughter Sarah to become a listener of the Dog Show Drive. He approached me this weekend and told me he enjoys the Dog Show Drive, and it's because Sarah made him listen to it. So thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Welcome, Mark. I hope we entertain you.
Let us entertain you. All right. Last week's question, again, brought to you by ProPlan. Fuel the champion in your dog. Would you rather see junior handlers owning the dog they handle, or should they borrow other dogs for junior showmanship? Take it away, Yvonne.
Oh, all right. You make me do a lot of work here, William.
I look and see how long the comments are before I take
I know. You're cruising for the two sentence ones. Yeah, I know you.
I like it. I think it's a great idea.
So anyway, we'll start off with Caitlin O'Brien Dyke. As someone who started as a junior and never owned a dog until I lived on my own, I never would have been involved in dogs if I had not handled other dogs. Having said that, I think it's also really important that juniors learn all the aspects of dog shows, not just the ring, the grooming, show prep, training, caring for them, and their environment. For me, I think it's important that juniors have a good community of mentors around them that will guide and teach them in all aspects of dogs. I was fortunate to have several, and without their guidance, I wouldn't be the breeder, owner, and handler I am today. After starting in juniors, I went to work for 2 local dog breeders, one being Faith Andrews. She has West Highland White Terriers. Who only gave me handling lessons after I helped groom the dogs and clean the yards and runs. To support and bring our sport forward, we need to foster and help our juniors, and that goes far beyond just giving them a dog to show in the ring, regardless if it's a season special or a new puppy. We need to keep our juniors interested in the grassroots of dog shows, and that is caring for and prepping these dogs, because without individuals who are committed to the life and well-being of purebred dogs, there are no dog shows.
Very true. Very true.
Very well said, Caitlin. Very well said.
And Sarah Petrie, friend of the show and influencer.
Mark's daughter.
Both are beneficial for different reasons. I was so fortunate as a junior to be able to show a wide variety of breeds. I always had a dog to show thanks to my aunt and uncle. That would be Wendy and Richard Paquette. Yes. I often showed terriers, which helped me a lot when we started to show and breed terriers in my early 20s. If juniors owned a dog, they would be able to learn and grow together as a team. This would resemble more of what we do as breeders and handlers. I still think it was so fun to learn new breeds, their structure and purpose, all depending on what dog was available. I would run to the show secretary desk to learn the standards from the big book of standards, which is not there anymore. Laugh out loud. But as a kid, they always had a book of standards at the show secretary.
Yep. So another friend of the show, Anne-Marie Kubatz, whose son, Peter, is now, former junior, now professional handler. She says, I think it's great that juniors don't have to own the dogs. And they are from the States. So there are children who want to give showing a try, but perhaps their parents' breed is not conducive for them to show. So it's exciting to see lots of juniors trying out different breeds and enjoying themselves as much as the dogs enjoy it. I do wish that judges were allowed to ask juniors questions, though. I think it would show the depth of knowledge they have for the breed that they are showing. A valid point. I like that.
It is true. Yes.
Yep.
And we do. I think we ask more questions up here than they do down there.
Yes, I don't know if they do that at all in the States. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Friend
of the show, Sheena Yark Snyder wrote, I wouldn't rather one or the other. While the junior may be comfortable learning on their own dog, they will eventually gain the confidence and skills to use other dogs. Both have their purpose, but if it was limited to only dogs they own, that creates a barrier to learning and skill development.
Yeah.
Which is true. Like I've often said that we up here, Canadian professional handlers, They're very versatile. Very versatile. They can
Yes.
show a lot of different breeds. And I think a lot of that is due to our junior handling competition. When I was a kid, I showed Gar the Afghan. I showed Dobermans. I showed Irish Setters. I showed everything. And my parents wouldn't let me just stay on an Irish Setter or English Cocker. I had to go and try a Papillon, or I had to go and try. And I think it was really beneficial to me.
Well, it was beneficial to me that I made my children, leash break a lot of dogs in junior handling.
Yeah, for sure. Go train this before I have to show it.
Smooth Fox Terriers. Off you go, girls. Enjoy. What else do we have here? Oh, friend of the show, Ty Manoy. I like to see juniors being able to show multiple different breeds. The idea of switching dogs is really cool. Not sure if the execution of it is realistic. Don't want an 11-year-old switching from a toy dog to a Corso. Ty, you're so funny. But the ability to show breed-specific handling across breeds where ear set is huge like a Basset or a Setter, then to a Dobe, you start to scratch the surface of the skills acquired, which is true. And
it is true.
And here we used to switch dogs. I don't know if we do that.
I've never thought that was a great idea, though, switching dogs.
But when we did, it was never in the younger classes. It was always in
older classes.
It was senior class.
The open classes.
Senior open classes.
Or maybe it was in overall. But I was always worried. Like I was never worried for myself. I always felt that I was comfortable enough to do it because I would watch. Yeah. I could watch the dogs in the ring and see how they were all responding. But for that newer person to be handed a German Shepherd when they came in the ring with a Sheltie, it's a different.
That's an eye opener.
Different story.
That's an eye opener.
Yeah. Michelle Briggs.
Oh, go ahead.
Michelle Briggs. I'm obviously a well-aged out past junior, but I'm on the working party in my state in Australia. We have never had to own our dogs, and it was part of the rules. We could only win one heat with X breed, then they had to take on another. That's a great idea.
That is.
I remember I interviewed Brett Hamilton not too long ago, and he told me this way. I don't understand that. Evening, no handlers can... Even though handlers can win one heat with an X breed, in qualifying heats, they must change breeds. So owning the dog was never going to happen here. And again, if you look at Australian handlers, they're very versatile as well. Yep. They can go from breed to breed. I've known many of them. Michelle's brother Simon worked for me, and Simon could show anything. Like he really could. He went on to win. I think he ended up winning Crufts. Simon did. For juniors. For juniors, yes. And then Meredith Kipp. I would like to see the master or open classes exchange dogs to show their ability to handle various breeds. The breeds that don't require a handler to position the legs and tail have a breed that requires more hands-on to present the breed correctly. They have required juniors showing dairy cattle to exchange animals. If they can do that with an animal that weighs hundreds of pounds, a dog should be a snap. I agree. Agree. All right, we're running out of time here. Let's do one more.
Jeanette. Are you going to read it or am I?
You chose Jeanette, and it's a novel, so you can read it. I was going to choose Ian Rasmussen.
Friend of the show. Jeanette has English setters, so both are good. I like in the U.S. when I was a junior, you had to show your own dog. Most or at least some judges would be looking at the condition and health of your dog, how well it was trained, etc. One judge I knew of would always check the dog's teeth in her juniors class. She didn't want to see any teeth in bad shape because everyone owned their dog. Very good point. I know some juniors were just added as an owner, but I took pride in knowing my dog was always my pet and was all me regarding health, grooming, and training. Now it's changed there to be more like Canada, which I do like as well. The idea of taking in random dogs for experience, some of you might not have met more than moments before. The fact in Canada you can ask questions, I think, is great, since some might be just taking in a random breed. You should know something about it. I would show my own dog in Canada more often than not, and always heard I did well because my dog was push button until we had to switch dogs in the ring. Yes, because English setters always look like they're so fantastic to touch. And then
Oh yeah,
somebody
it's like the
else.
Beagles. Oh, I
Oh,
used to
yeah.
always get. Oh, they can show themselves. Okay,
Sure they can.
go on in there, give it a whirl. I'm going to read off Ian's too, Ian Rasmussen, just because it's
Yes.
one line. Ian.
Yep. There you go. Your one liner.
Borrowing dogs allows them to get experience with different breeds, and that's the
Yeah.
sum of it. It really
Yeah.
is.
It does. Yeah.
It's very important, and I think it gives you versatility as a handler and gives you experience with different breeds that you might not have a chance to show. But
Yes.
So that's that.
Yes.
That's the show. We've on.
That's it.
That's the show.
I want to put out a reminder, though, that it's not going to be next week. I'm looking at a calendar way across the room. Not next week. The week after, though, William, we're going to do our terrier show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To get in preparation for, is it next? Yeah. Preparation for the Montgomery County Kennel Club. So we'll have
That's cool. You have supervision, and I need supervision. It's great.
Yeah. But if we're together, we need mega supervision.
We do. We do.
People know better than to just leave us to our own devices. So anyway,
that was the question. The weekend was brought to you by ProPlan.
Yes.
Fuel the champion in your dog.
When you're at Purina Farms, they have lots of they have like these banners, and so I want to say, ProPlan, your win is waiting.
Oh, I like that one. I like
I
that. Your
know,
win
I
is
know.
waiting.
Your win is waiting. So
That's good. Anyway.
So
all right, take us away, Yvonne.
All right. So don't forget to click, and subscribe to our podcast. Check out our Facebook page for the question of the week and anything else you'd like to add. That's the Dog Show Drive, Canadian edition, and email your ideas, comments, and more at dogshowdrive@gmail.com. So if you're traveling this weekend, drive safe, take care, seatbelts on, glasses on. Till next week, guys.
Be safe, everyone.